Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Gruber Wired. I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and welcome once again.
Welcome.
Look who's here with us today.
Yes.
We have Kyle from Quick and Pure, right?
Howdy.
Kyle, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
I'm well.
Yeah?
Excited?
I brought my umbrella.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
It's going to rain in here.
It's going to rain in Arizona. Phoenix.
We
yeah.
are expecting some rain, aren't we? Which
Yep.
is, it's a sight. We do get some rain once in a while.
Got dark on the way over.
It did.
Quickly.
It did. There's, I'm digging it. Even though it's a late winter, at least we're getting a winter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? And Kyle, speaking of rain, you're from Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
So you probably dealt with a little bit of rain up
You
that
don't
way.
have the love affair with it like we do here.
It's nice.
Yeah. People here are a little weird when it comes to weather. We like it.
It's kind of like a snow day, right? When we
Right.
get a little bit of drizzle or
When
rain.
I lived back east for a little bit, people would just look at me sideways when it would rain, and I'd be all happy. Yeah, I love this, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
like a
bring
nice
it on.
surprise here.
Days. Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to enjoy this living here, coming from Wisconsin area, right?
Yeah, until the triple digits hit, right?
Probably
It's right
want
around
you
the
in
corner,
there a
too.
little bit.
Where at in Wisconsin? Where are you from?
Just west of Milwaukee, about half hour west.
I'm from Green Bay.
Love it.
Yeah.
There you
Packers
go.
fan?
Green Bay's fan, huh? I didn't know that about you, Cash. You a Green Bay fan, too?
Green Space.
It's hard
Bay.
for me to say because I lived in Wisconsin for 11 years, and then for 14 to 15 years I lived in Illinois.
Oh,
And
okay.
the Bears and the Packers are rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
it
tough
depended
one.
on who was talking to me, depended on which team I was rooting for.
Yeah. That tracks.
The Bears. Remember that? Yeah.
So Kyle is one of our customers.
That's correct,
right?
yeah.
And we thought it would be great to sit down and talk about their company. It's an exciting company, very practical for Arizona for sure,
Yeah.
and Texas and some of the hotter states, right? And it's called Quick and Pure, correct?
Yeah, Quick and Pure Ice.
So tell us a little bit about it.
Sure.
What you
Yeah.
got going on there?
So we manufacture a machine meant for different types of retailers, right? Gas stations, liquor stores, grocery stores. And it's really sort of what we think is the cutting edge future of bagged ice. So when you go to a gas station or any sort of retailer, buy a bag of ice, you pay, go outside, grab it from a freezer.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're aiming to sort of, streamline that, innovate around that. And so our machine is meant, it's sort of an inside replacement for that. And so it takes the delivery method out, it takes the labor out of it.
Oh, okay.
And so it's going to do everything from make the ice, put it in a bag, seal it, store it, drop it, and then store it in bulk on demand for the consumers.
That's very cool. I
Yeah.
mean, we know in the not too distant past, you'd see the ice trucks come in and they'd be bagging them up. So you got the fuel that they had to deal with, the labor. That was an expensive part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having it all in one machine.
Absolutely.
Time and money, right?
Time
Yeah.
and money.
That's what we're looking at. Hey, Pete just chimed in and said, "Welcome, neighbor."
Yeah, we're
So-
new neighbors as well. Not just a customer, but a new neighbor just down the block.
Yeah,
Yes.
just right around the
Right
corner,
across the
behind
parking
us
lot.
here. Yeah.
Hop, skip,
So-
and a jump.
If
stone's
the
throw
gate's
away.
open, it's right across the parking
Yeah,
lot.
otherwise you got to walk all the way around there.
Yeah.
So.
Right?
But yeah, this is interesting because I never thought about ice machines in this way of being able to save on labor cost and all these other factors. What about the maintenance side of this? You're talking about something where it bags it for you. So how often are you looking at replacing bags in the machine?
Sure.
What type of maintenance and equipment adjustments are there?
Honestly, it's really designed well. I mean, there's been a lot of engineering put into it, as well as technology, right, to really minimize that. So we see actually very minimal and less than you would think. As far as the changing of the bags, that's a little different, right? So we sort of think of it in terms of difference between housekeeping versus maintenance and service,
There you go.
right?
Okay.
Right.
So as far as service goes, right, we have remote technology where we can see if there's a fault, if there's an alarm that we can remote in from here in Phoenix, anywhere in the country.
Nice.
Right, so we can keep the uptime really, really tight, really close to 100% uptime. And then the housekeeping items, keeping it clean, keeping it tidy, and making sure you get a new roll on, right? So we've made it very simple. You change a roll, think of a large toilet paper roll. When it's out, you just put the spindle off and replace it. So every 500 bags, you replace it. During the peak season, you'll probably replace it a little bit more. And the stores can do it, right? We arm the stores with the ability to really sell as much demand as they can produce, as
Sure.
the machine can produce.
How long does it take for the machine to produce a bag of ice?
Seconds. I mean, I think we timed it at 6.5 seconds, 7 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Assuming there's ice available in the hopper, right? So there's a staging hopper in the
Right.
equipment. And so, depending on the harvest time and the ice maker up top and how fast it's harvesting, that will also drive replenishments.
Okay.
But, with ice always in the hopper as sort of a batter on deck sort of thing, when consumers consume the ice, the machine knows it was consumed, and then it automatically makes more behind them.
So how long does it take to make 500 bags of ice where you had to replace that roll? I mean, in general.
It depends on how many they're selling throughout
Yeah,
the day,
right.
right? So
Yeah.
some stores will sell through that in a couple days during peak season.
Okay.
Some stores may take a week, right?
But peak season, even a couple days, that's a pretty good run.
Yeah.
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
really meant to keep, give the stores a lot of horsepower, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that they can hit that ceiling. Because with delivery methods of ice, you are sort of, your ceiling is whatever gets delivered to you, right? And then during peak season, if drivers and labor are short, it's hard to, you run out.
Yeah.
And so having a machine that's always going to constantly make it, you're able to hit that sales ceiling.
Sure.
So you might not even know what your ceiling is when you meet us, right? It's like, hey, we know what we can sell based on what we were delivered,
Right.
what was delivered to us. And so, yeah, it's great to sort of help customers realize that ceiling of where the demand is in in any certain store.
Yeah, crazy. That's cool stuff. One thing for me is quality, right?
Yeah.
And that's in your name, quality. I see this at restaurants all the time. Okay, I'll see people that order the bottled water instead of asking for a glass of water because they want the filtered water, the bottled water.
Right.
But at the same time, I watch them and they'll order a glass of ice. Well, the ice comes from the municipal source at the restaurant,
Right, the
and
little-
then they're
the-
taking their
yeah.
clean water and putting it into the glass of ice. Well, you just contaminated that water.
Yeah.
So for me, what about the quality, the filtration system? What's taking place there with what you have?
Well, and to your point, you also don't know if it's been warehoused, right? If the bagged ice that was manufactured in a plant was warehoused for a certain amount of time before it got to your table, right? And so with our machines, it's making it fresh on demand daily or hourly or minute to minute, right? And so, but it's in the name, right? Quick and pure. We have a saying like it's quick and easy, quick and pure.
Right.
We have a 3-stage filtration system on there. So the stores will ask us, many times new stores will ask, hey, well, what if our store doesn't have, the store water doesn't have a filtration system? That's okay, right? We have our own 3-stage filtration system for sediment, for scaling, for any issues in that way. And then we also have our own cleaning PMs that we handle for the customer. And so we really tout the idea that we have the clearest ice, the densest ice, and the longest lasting ice. We like that.
That's a
Consumers
great
like
thing.
it too.
Yeah.
So how many machines do you have out in the field?
We don't advertise that just because
Okay.
we're growing so rapidly.
Right.
But there's quite a few out there. We're in a lot of different states. We started in the Southwest, and then over the last 2 or 3 years expanded nationally, and we're going everywhere that there's demand for it.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, Pete just chimed back in and says, what is it we're making for these machines? Well, Pete, what we're doing is making a heating coil, correct? And this heating coil goes into the drain system of the machine itself, right? Where the water would drain down, where you sometimes have an issue of actual ice buildup and freezing within that line, correct?
Yeah, so it's actually in the evap drain,
Okay.
right? So the evaporator system in the freezer part of the machine, depending on the size of the machine and how much it's pumping, we start to see a little bit of buildup, and because we're keeping it at low temps, right, it starts to freeze up and build up depending on how much the machine is getting worked. And so what you guys have done for us is help us design the heating element that goes in there, keeping that drip drain clean. So that as the machine goes into its defrost cycle, then the drain isn't clogged up, it can pass through, and it's nice and clean. We don't deal with any ice buildup or issues there.
And that wire
Yeah.
gets nice and hot. We
Yeah.
were testing
It
it
is.
over here. That's for sure.
It does warm up
And so
quick.
it cycles on in an interval or through a thermometer that senses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a line thermometer going all the way through the box, so it knows, the box itself knows how cold it is at different points in the box at any
Right.
given time.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, just, a little shameless plug here, but the versatility of Gruber and being able to design cables that, not necessarily data cables, but
Yeah.
something that a customer comes to us with, and we look at a problem and work to a solution. And I know you went through several iterations of this
Yes, we
particular
did.
design until we got there, but we got there. And,
Yeah.
there are a lot of examples where something isn't an out of the box solution that we've designed. Gruber has come up with solutions, and whether it's a drawing, we had this cable made 20 years ago, and, we can't find them anymore. So now we need to have this cable, right?
Yeah.
For critical equipment or whatever. And we just take it and run with it until we figure it out. Yeah.
That's a lot of it. Like you said, just sticking it out.
Yep.
Putting in the time, the effort, and understanding that in this world, we are going to run into issues and problems. It happens, but it's a matter of how we deal with it, how we overcome those hurdles, and look for the best possible solution.
Right.
The sense of urgency, right? I mean, what I hear
That's
from that
a lot
is
of
the
it,
sense
too.
of urgency.
Yeah.
I mean,
Always.
Yeah.
customers, we couldn't be more grateful for your help, right? And for a company like us that, what we brag about is labor and fuel, right? Shipping and reducing that, less trucks on the road, energy efficiency, right? Having a partner like you guys make that for us and not have shipping costs, not have more trucks on the road. Hey, your wires are ready, and throw it across the wall, right?
Slingshot them over.
It's a sense of community, it's a sense of building and partnership, and it's just so rich, and we couldn't be more grateful to have you.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. We do.
Definitely. And you're right. I mean, we take that attitude, especially with partners who have a solution. Usually it's an urgent need, right? And our attitude is always to produce the best results. So quality and speed are the basically the top two levers that we pull on. And whether it's a customer that's doing a bid on a job and they need to get it out, or mission critical equipment that needs something that isn't working anymore, we jump on it. And that's the great thing about being in business for over 40 years. We've established a lot of manufacturing relationships. So if it's not something that we can do, we usually can get it done. So we don't necessarily think that we have all the answers, but we do have great teams that have, that are great resources for us. Our partners are invaluable to our success.
They really are.
Yep.
Very, very much so.
Well, it ties into branding. It ties into, and one thing I thought about was in the age of Amazon, right? For the industrial manufacturing space, urgency is key.
Yeah.
People expect it, right? They expect swift, high quality results fast.
Right.
And to compete, to grow a brand, you have to be able to rise to the occasion.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
we love
quality is the key word there too.
And where we go with that too is that, Amazon being out there is a great thing. It's also a great advertisement for us because, people think that they're getting one thing and they get it, and the quality isn't necessarily there because you're talking about products that may not be made in the U.S. They may be made overseas, sourced, very little QA going on. And when people try and compare apples to apples, they find that, with our lifetime guarantee on our standard stuff, it's unbeatable because you get something from Amazon and it doesn't work after a year, you're just buying another thing. But you buy a Gruber data cable, and that is a lifetime guarantee.
Well, and that's what you bring up, our lifetime warranty program on our cabling. You know what? I've been here 10 years, and I've only heard of 2 instances out of the 40 years of being in business where that's come into being used, implemented.
Right.
So that's a testament to 40 years of success of a quality product.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I got to say, thank you for the kind words. When I came over to see you guys for the first time, your staff was extremely friendly, very knowledgeable. I got to say thank you because that makes it easy to do business with.
Well, it's trying to adhere to the pillars, right? And making sure it's not just quality in product, but it's quality in service and customer service, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who walks through our doors. We try to do our best all the way around.
Sure.
Right? And, I've heard the same thing from even our customers, right? That our service is next to none. They hear from us within the hour. They hear, we get the most recent story, I think, that really brightened my whole year was 4th of July is one of the 3 biggest holidays in ICE, right?
Sure.
And so one of our customers, we had a fault in the machine because it was just running and pumping for the 4th of July weekend. And our service tech on his own merits, showed up within 14 minutes of the call.
Wow.
Right?
Nice.
And so we really pride ourselves on uptime, on response time. And when the customer reached out to share that story with me, he said, our fire department here doesn't even respond that fast. Not, of course, just
Right, yeah.
in terms
Right.
of relative, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And he was so impressed, and we love hearing that, right? So it's really about, doesn't matter who's through our door, or whether it's a customer or a vendor or someone off the street just coming to say hello. We try to just approach it. We're happy, we're excited, we're a growing business, and we're all happy to be here.
Time is money, and I'm sure that's a high margin item for the stores, right? I mean, it's a necessity, of course, for the
Yeah.
end user, right? But having it all self-contained and just kind of printing money, as it were, as the bags come out, kind of like McDonald's and their soda machine, right?
Yeah.
That's a high margin item that lets them sell their other stuff, although not so cheap anymore. But lets them keep their margins down on some of their other product.
Right.
So same thing with them. It's high profit item, but for convenience, right?
And knowing where the product, where the end experience goes, right? So,
Yeah.
Going all the way back to the heating element you're providing us, right? It's going in a machine that's going into a store. Our customer is the store, but the end customer is the consumer,
Yeah.
right? And so being able to bring a premium product to these stores means the difference between a family on the beach on 4th of July weekend, whether they have a good bag of ice or not, right? Whether their drinks
Yeah.
are cold, whether, in triple digits, right,
Right.
in the summer here in the Southwest, it means a different experience for that day for the end consumer.
Sure.
And so you just play the tape all the way through, and we have a small part in delivering those experiences.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I've been in those experiences where it's hot out there and you run down, you just grab a quick bag of ice and throw in the cooler, right? By the time I get to my destination, it's like dead. It's water. It's like, what happened to this ice? And that's when you bring up the longevity or ice that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that hit with me because I've had those experiences.
Sure.
So, and we got some photos here and some information on the machine. Do you want
Yeah.
to pull up number 1?
Let's do it.
We're going to go through some of these really quick here. How does it work? And if you want to kind of guide us through
Sure.
the works of this here.
Yeah, so this really is just kind of a general overview of the machine. What you're seeing is sort of our standard flagship 4-foot model machine. So you're going to have an ice maker up top, the bagging section, the patented bagging section that puts the ice in the bag and seals it, and then below you're going to see the merchandiser, what you call a freezer. And so it kind of just lays out the different steps to the machine, all the the important parts of the machine and the program. But more importantly, what we consider to be the real innovation and the real horsepower in the machine is the technology, right? So I talked a little earlier about being able to remote in and out. So our remote service capabilities on the system, we can see what's happening live time. We can track it. We see, we get notified when things are not happening as they're supposed to, and we can respond remotely. So, 9 out of 10 times we're going to be able to keep that machine running without sending a body in the store, which again is in line with the pillar, reducing trucks on the road, reducing travel emissions, right, and going green. But then, that 1 in 10 times that we need to send someone out there, it's swift, right? We have local technicians that are able to pop in and pop out. It also allows us to build the rapport with the stores.
Well, and you know what's going on too before you even go on site.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Diagnostically, right? It's a huge benefit. And so this really just goes over the program and the machine itself.
Well, how about number 2? We have the machine configurations here.
This one is fun. So, a lot of times we hear, oh, well, we sell a lot of ice. Or, oh, we might not sell as much as, maybe your machine might be too much horsepower,
Right.
which can happen, right? And so this really kind of lays out the 4 standard configurations that we use, and we think these 4 standard configurations can handle 99% of retailers, right? So our standard 4-foot, how many bags it's going to make in a 24-hour period, the replenishment speed, and the different, as you see at the bottom half, right? It's green checks all the way across the board. We like to say it doesn't matter what configuration you get, you're going to get the perks of the entire program all the way across the board.
Nice.
You're going to get 24/7 remote monitoring. You're going to get KPI access. You're going to get fast, awesome customer service. But the real difference between the configurations is what holding power you have.
Right.
How many bags are you
Okay.
selling? And so something that we really pride ourselves on, another thing, is that we do most of the heavy lifting for our customers. We realize they're running busy stores and they don't need to be, dealing with with analysis and figuring out what system they need. And so we really simply just ask them, hey, send us what you did last year, monthly, daily, whatever data you have available, and we'll consume that data. We'll use AI and different machine learning techniques to analyze their sales and then account for a bump. Because most stores will, with round-the-clock inventory and not have any outages, dealing with delivered ice anymore, we assume that they're going to get a bump by having ice all the time.
Yep.
And so we do this analysis on the front end, and that really helps us drill down onto what configuration they need.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
A good example would be either the second or the third configuration, the 4-foot with an exterior box or the 6-foot with an exterior box. Right? That exterior box, what it represents is stores that have different demographics of buyers. So some stores just have onesie, twosie buyers come in, grab a Snickers, Powerade, maybe a 6-pack and 1 bag of ice or 2 bags of ice. But in the oil fields of West Texas, there are bulk buyers, or up in different states during construction season. You have oil field foremen or construction workers coming in that need 50 bags of ice at 7 a.m., one for each member of the crew, and they don't necessarily want to walk inside and then have to shuttle 60 bags outside.
Right.
And so having the bulk stock outside really helps those stores capitalize on every demographic of sale. And so then it's about strategic backstocking and making sure that the machine is it will just keep pumping. And so if you offload a 4-foot machine into an exterior box, the machine will just fill itself back up.
There you go.
Nice. And number 3 there.
A day in the life of Quick and Pure Station. So
There we go.
Not necessarily a day in the life of us at Quick and Pure, but a day in the life of the machine, personifying the machine a little bit. So what this represents is kind of what we see as far as a standard C-store sales activity, right?
Okay.
Where's the busy times? Where's the peak rush times throughout a 24-hour period? And this really gets at the design of the machine, right? So we design the machine, the configurations have been designed, to meet this level of demand. So you see the peaks and troughs of when they're selling the most ice, where the downtimes are, and when we need to be replenishing. So we were able to design a machine that really fits within most stores. And where the peaks and valleys are.
Great.
I would assume, the peaks and valleys here, does that take into account weekdays versus weekends?
It does.
Because I could imagine,
Definitely. Thursday through Sunday looks way different than Monday through Thursday,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
coming in before work, middle of the day, after work, versus the weekends where it's really all day. Whenever they're going out to the lakes, right
Yeah.
up in the Midwest, you see a lot of peaks in the morning, versus at night it slows down.
Right. Right.
So it absolutely depends on the market you're in.
Now we have some photos to show of these in the stores themselves. So
Yeah. Oh,
let's
that's
go
cool.
Number 4. There we go.
Yeah, so here's a good picture of one of our great customers here in Phoenix, actually. So Cobblestone Auto Spa is a great customer of ours, great partner to ours, and I think a lot of people here recognize the name. They do
Yeah.
a great car wash, but they also do a great detailing, and so I'll plug them a little bit here. They have sell ice in their convenience stores, and so they have a lot of customers waiting for detailing. So customers will grab ice. I mean, some of these Cobblestones are selling 20,000 bags of ice a year.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so our solution has really been a good partner for them. And this is just one of their stores here in Phoenix that we were able to kind of build into the store and put it along the water, put it along the beverages, and they really like it.
Yeah, I see there where you say put along the water and beverages. Does it make a difference where you place that ice machine in a store?
That's a great question. That's seriously a great question. So the sales floor of a convenience store or a liquor store or even like a big grocery store, right?
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely matters, right? The different categories and the different products they carry. A lot of customers who have beer caves, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get a machine right outside that beer cave.
Right.
Sight lines are important in a store. Or by the exit, right? We also hear a lot from our customers about, well, what about the customers that get to the checkout with everything they have,
Right.
and then they look over and go, oh, I forgot the ice,
Yeah.
Right.
because it's right in front of them. And so
And
there's,
they're not going to roll through the store with a bag of ice in their cart either.
So the
That
end
is
of the line
last
is the
thing.
best way to
Yep.
do it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Let's go with the next picture, number 5.
Oh, awesome. So this store is another good one. We had a store recently renovate their store. And so they've got new fascia, as you see the new wood fascia up there. And so we were able to really find a nice corner for it, tuck it away. and it looks beautiful, right? This is
Yep.
in the Dallas Fort Worth area, right
Okay.
downtown. This store is actually directly across the street from the fairgrounds.
Oh.
So every year this store sees some huge sales spikes.
I imagine so,
Right
yeah.
around fair time, right around concert time in the summer.
Sure.
And they've been an awesome partner as well.
Very cool. Next one, number 7.
Oh yeah,
Here we
here
go,
we
double.
go. The oil fields of West Texas.
Is that where this is?
This is where this is. So West Texas, again, this store sees incredible volumes. And so we actually decided to go with 2 machines here. While a 6-footer configuration with a box or indoor or outdoor box could have fit the need, this particular customer, we really spent a lot of time talking about single and second points of failure.
Right.
So
Okay.
being pretty rural, far out from everybody, even though we have local techs, one of their concerns was redundancy, making sure that if there was an instance where one machine was down, that they had another one to back it up.
Makes a lot of sense.
It absolutely does. And for a store that's doing, 30, 40,000 bags a year, it absolutely makes sense.
Right.
That's
And
a
so-
lot of ice.
It's a lot. I told you before we went live, right? I mean, I was shocked a few years ago to learn just how much ice the world consumes. It's uncanny.
There's no doubt. Well, and not that this is any competition to you, but even you look in Costco and all the ice machines that are for sale now.
Yeah.
Like that used to not be a thing, and now people just have it sitting on their countertop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I have one on my countertop. I went with a refrigerator without the ice maker in it.
Yeah.
Okay, because of location. That's
Yeah.
all the reason was. And then we bought an external ice machine and it sits in our house.
We have one on the sales floor.
Yeah, we have one here.
Well, and you really get at 2 really important points, right? Which is the demand for home ice, and where that grew from, right?
Yeah.
And why? And the other catalyst to that is why Quick and Pure has seen such an explosion in,
Sure.
right? And it really comes down to labor and fuel and deliveries, right? As we move into new innovation in all the markets and deliveries and deliverables, how we get product to the consumers, and using innovation to get there and eliminating trucks on the road. So, it's interesting. When we moved here just a short time ago, many of the big box stores that we went into were out of ice, many of the times.
really?
But next to it, you would see a countertop ice maker for a home use right next to it on sale.
Right.
And so it just really paints a good picture of why Quick and Pure has seen such an interest.
That makes sense.
Let's go next picture. Here we go. This is the exterior one you're talking
Yeah,
about,
an
correct?
exterior box. So this
Yeah.
store, I can't remember where it is exactly, but so this store has an outdoor box, and really the use of it is to strategically backstock. So we have customers that they may not do a ton of sales annually, but they will have sort of those 3 main holidays: Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July. Those are our main concerns for most of our customers. And so a store that may only be doing 9,000 bags a year, they do 60% of that in like 2 months.
Yeah.
And so the rest of the year may not warrant putting a big machine, 6-foot machine inside or 2 machines inside, but they need to be able to handle the bulk for that. Or they may have customers that are buying 50 at a time.
Sure.
And so this allows them to, in the slower shifts, night shift or second shift, we'll just unload the machine into one of these exterior boxes that we, brand and wrap it Quick and Pure. And then when they need it, it's there for them.
Nice.
So one thing I noticed is these are not small machines you can put on a countertop. They're large. They take up some area, right?
Yeah.
So how convenient is it to get these installed into these locations?
That's a good question. It definitely takes a little bit of ingenuity, right? So
Yeah.
a little bit of work. So we have our own teams that do the installs, and it's really it ships in 2 pieces. So the crews have equipment and different tools that they can do to kind of get it in the store without being disruptive, right? And so one of the pieces of equipment we have is a Genie lift that we can lift the ice maker up on top. But it really goes in 2 pieces and then puts together like a puzzle once it's inside.
Okay, very
And you
convenient.
have to
then.
run, obviously, you have to run water line. You probably, I don't know if you connect to a data line or if it's, Wi-Fi or whatever.
So
but-
each machine has a cell signal.
Okay.
So we have data
Okay.
lines, through the cell signal that we pay
Nice.
for. But so the other question you asked, I'm drawing a blank. You had brought up another point. just
Water?
now. Water. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. We've gotten so efficient with rolling these out everywhere because we've seen an explosion in interest, right? The electricians and the plumbers on the install crew will actually go ahead of the install team.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
So if we're doing a rollout of 50 or 100 stores in one state,
Right.
we'll map them out. We'll route them out. The project management team that you met at the office, they'll map it out ahead of time. And so the electricians and the plumbers will get to each store ahead of time.
Sure.
And they'll run the electrical, and this is all stuff we pay for that we do for our customers. So there's no capital required for our customers to onboard our equipment, which is a huge perk to many of our customers.
Yeah, of course.
if not
Say
all
so.
of them, right?
Yeah.
So we stay ahead of them, and that way the installers come in with the machine, plug it in, and we're good to go.
That's
Nice.
I mean, it's a
Very
great
cool.
selling point. It doesn't cost you anything, and you make money.
Yeah.
First bag
No-brainer.
out.
Yeah.
That's what we sell around, right? The value add is because there's no capital required on the front end. The machine will be fired up, and the first bag out, there's no rev sharing. We don't share in profits with our customers. They make margin on the bags,
Right.
and the first bag out of that machine they sell, and they're already in the black.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, a half hour does go fast, doesn't it?
Oh wow, it
Yeah.
does.
Just
Yeah.
like you turn around and boing. Hey, Aaron, can you pull up number 9? I want to make sure everybody has Kyle's contact information out there. And we're going to get that up here on the screen. So there you go. If you'd like to, there's your phone number.
Yeah.
You have your email address. Feel free to reach out to Kyle at any point in time, to say hello if you have any questions for him. Great company, great people over there.
We really appreciate you being
Yeah.
here.
Thanks for
today.
having me. This has been
So-
enormous fun. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah,
I love
it
it.
is.
We have a
It's
good
kinda
time.
fun.
We cut it up. You got a sample of the cut up before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was all business right now, but we know how to have fun.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Hey, let's do it again and,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
chop it up about
certainly.
other things.
I know you have to come a long distance to come
Oh,
see us, but
man. Climbing that wall was tough.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. So, everybody, make sure you like, subscribe, share this podcast. We appreciate you being here. And for now, I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and thank you, Kyle, for
Thank
joining
you, Kyle.
Thank you so much for having
Yes.
me.